Welcome into another exciting episode of the Scene Project Sports Network. I am your host, Bubba Starts, and with me today from PodsPlaysGolf, Alex. Welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, Alex, or Pods, as you're affectionately known in the internet world. It's a pleasure to get you on here. Talk some golf today. It's a little rainy here in South Dakota today, but the snow at least is holding off for now. And we're looking at maybe in the next 3 to 4 weeks getting on the course in the upper Midwest. But you're down in Texas where golf is a year-round sport.
California, actually.
California. Okay, so you're out in Cali. Yeah, same deal, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately,
Fantastic.
though, today and yesterday it's been pretty cold, windy, and rainy.
What is cold to someone in California?
Cold to someone in California would probably be 50 degrees, but we're talking like 30 degrees with the wind right now. So
Yeah, okay, I'll give you that. We South Dakota obviously gets 50 below zero. So
I know. I used to before I moved here back to California, I used to live in Kansas and Michigan, so very well aware. I've had tears freeze to my face while shoveling snow for my neighbors in Michigan, but it's a special kind of pain that you
yes,
only enjoy in the
sir.
Midwest.
Yes, sir, it is. I love it, man. Well, before we get too much further into the conversation, would love to just give you the floor and have you give us a little bit of your backstory, how you got into the YouTube golf scene and creating content around that, and then we'll pick up the convo from there.
Okay, so basically about a year and a half ago, I started this gaming channel called the Yarnum Pod, which was a game, Bloodborne, it was based around. And I would make content, whether it was boss battles or just basic lore videos. And it was just something to do, like a hobby. And about 4 months into doing that, I was like, I'm not really satisfied with this. I tried doing game reviews with it, and I was just like, this isn't really something I'm enjoying. But I also was well aware because this was like, I looked at my body at the time and I'm like, I don't really feel good either. So let me go outside and just try and get a hobby, you know? And I looked at golf and I was like, well, this is a great way I could lose weight and not really think about losing weight because I'm playing a game. So when I started back good Lord, 8 months ago, so let's just say early summer, like June-ish, I had this idea. I was like, well, why don't I just take pods from my gaming channel and then I'll just swap it to Pods Plays Golf. And it's a lot less niche than the Yarnum Pod. So it's like Pods Plays Golf. You can plug and play that anywhere. And over the course of 8 months, I went from not really knowing how to swing a golf club all that well to now I'm pretty decent at it. Still got my struggles. But I went from 292 pounds down to I'm now at 250.
And I think that's to me is the most incredible, and people don't think about it. And we talk a lot about, golf being a lifetime sport, right? And there's ways to play this game well into your, 80s or 90s, possibly. I'm not sure what the oldest golf player out there is, the oldest golfer, but you see guys, that are swinging it daily for, decades beyond retirement. And I don't think enough of us think about, especially if you're out there walking the courses and carrying your clubs and doing that, how it can be a weight loss journey. And I love that you kind of focus on that, and congratulations, losing, 40 pounds, right, in less than a year. That's huge, man. That's huge. Or maybe a little less huge.
I see what you did there, but I can attest to this much. It is there are old timers out there that are probably about twice my age, 3 times my age, that can still swing that stick like they're 2010 Rory. Okay. Now, as far as their back and their knee pain goes, I don't know if they could do 72 holes, but they can definitely wax you on a 9-hole match. So
And it's still fun, and it doesn't feel like working out, right?
no,
It doesn't feel you're playing a game, you're playing a very frustrating game at times, but the elation, for me, and especially, and I'm not, pro, or I would even say a good golfer by any means, but that one shot can change your whole day. That watching it, land in the middle of the fairway or sinking a 20-foot putt for a birdie once around is enough to keep you coming back to it. And I just love it. For me, I love the camaraderie on the golf course, the community that is built around not just people on your home course, but throughout the entire sport, because for most of us, it's all the same. 99% of golfers out there are not playing to a level that they would be taking it professional, right? So it is about the camaraderie of knowing that this game can beat the best of them. And it's honing into that. And I think it's such an amazing sport. I'm very grateful to have people that sponsor our golf content. A huge shout out to the Skunk Golf Company. I got their polo on today. Look good even if your game stinks. And a huge shout out to Shankit Golf as well. We are ambassadors, each of us, for Shankit. And I think these companies get that, right? And especially the two companies that we're talking about right now, that it's not about being the best golfer on the course every day. It's about going out with your friends, having a great time, maybe crushing some beers out there, and pulling them out of your Shankit caddy and tagging along out on the course. It's about having fun, and it's about being part of a community.
Well, I'm a little bit partial to the West Coast, if you will. I know in South Dakota the laws may be a little different, but out here we have the little bit of California green, if you get what I mean. It's a little bit of green for the greens.
Which also fixed the skunked label. So
all I'll say is this too, is that I don't think people give golf, broadly speaking, the appreciation it deserves. And I think with the Masters coming up here pretty soon too, that people like really tune in. Like if you watch the Masters ratings every year, it's if for a sport like golf in America, where it's like you think of it as an old boys club thing initially, but to see how much the game has grown and to see all the new people getting into it, like I see people from like the smoke shop going to golf. I see people from different sports like soccer players, baseball players going to golf, hockey players. Got to control those ones. They'll crush like 6 beers before the first tee. Just saying. So I don't know if you if you watch any golf YouTubers, but Spittin' Chicklets, if you want to watch some hockey players play some golf, I highly recommend.
I love their pod, man. Some great guys. Absolutely love. And I love that the independent creator space, the YouTube golf space, while dominated by your Bryson DeChambeaus and Grant Horvat and Phil and, Bob Does Sports.
My favorite.
There's plenty of room out here for guys like us to create and build our own community online as well.
It's not very gatekeeping, this community, like the golf community, especially online. And I will credit this. I know he hates being called this Wonder Boy here, but Horvat has really opened up this space to people you wouldn't really see in this space 10, 20 years ago. Like, you wouldn't see a Fat Perez on the internet, guy who grew up in Richmond, a Joey Cold Cuts. In my opinion, my favorite YouTube golfer who's not of like the Bob Does Sports, Grant Horvat, all that, dude, Brad Dahlke. Like, the guy's a stand-up guy. We got to see him on the internet invitational, and not a lot of people knew Brad from Good, but now they know Brad, and they get to go watch Brad and Sean do their thing, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and it's really just about finding people that you vibe with. If you're going to consume content these days, we have so many options out there that the world has changed, and especially over the course of the last decade. And I think that's why you saw the explosion of YouTube golf over really the last 5 to 6 years, that people just want to they want people they vibe with. And the reason that a Bob Does Sports and Fats and all these guys are so popular is because you see your friends in them, right? Like you see something of your crew inside of their crew, and this person reminds you of that or whatever. And I think that it really encouraged me into getting into the YouTube golf space. Now, obviously, our sports network covers pretty much every sport under the sun, but it was very important to me to dip into the golf space because it's a sport that I love. It's something that I spend a lot of time doing during the summer. It's something that me and my wife can do together, right? It's not just for the boys. It's definitely a way that, and not just husband and wife, couples come together, but whole families, right? We love to take our kids out on the course and to have moments with them and teaching them the game very early in their lives. My son and daughter are 9 and 10, and for most of the last several years, they've just kind of come out there and walked and ran around, but they get to come up and putt and have some fun with us. And it takes that one shot to hook you. So Pods, what was that one shot for you early in your golf playing career that was like, oh, I'm going to do this forever?
Oh man, that's kind of hard to narrow it down to one. But if I had to say my one shot, and I'm gonna circle back real quick to it, but you said with the wife, the kids, um, the person who films all my content is my wife. So we do this together as a couple. I actually just went and got her some clubs last month, so she's gonna start learning the game too. So I thought that was awesome, they're bringing that up, and I'm glad to hear that you were getting your kids into it. It's a game that I feel like a lot of young guys and gals could get into and enjoy. But my shot that I'd say that really like hooked me to the point where I'm like, oh man, this is my life now. Was 8 iron. It was a par four, a pretty tight par four at Apple Valley Golf. I had about 130 yards in. I had an 8 iron. At the time I was playing these really souped up Wilson Launchpad twos because I couldn't swing very well yet, but I still wanted to enjoy the game. And I had aimed it slightly right because the wind was blowing left and it kind of sloped. And I popped it. It landed right on the green and it stopped for a second, but then it started rolling to the side and I stuck it to like a foot. And I'm just sitting there like, did I get that on film? And she's like, you did. And I'm like, did I really just do that? She's like, you did. I'm like, I'm gonna go tap that in.
I tap that.
I tap that.
I love it. I love it. And I hope you've had several since then that keep you motivated.
Actually had a birdie a couple days ago.
Nice. Congrats, man. First one of the season. I hope very many more to come for you. I was actually out playing when I was in Texas a little bit ago. A few weeks ago, I was out on tour and I got to sneak away from all the music content and get out on the course one morning. And didn't play particularly well most of the day, but still had 3 nice shots in a row that stuck a birdie. And it was like, all right, this was a successful round.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of the thing for a lot of golf players, especially early in the round. Like, it is hard to get going the first couple holes, and I think that's where a lot of people get super frustrated. They get so psyched up for their round, and they're like double bogey through, the first couple holes, and it's like, relax, it gets better. Like, for me, I always joke, I'm like, well, it takes me 9 holes to warm up. So
Pods, do you get out on the range before you start your rounds, or you just jump in the cart and go?
I'm a jump in the cart and go kind of person. Like, I'll do I've actually I'll pan my camera to it real quick. You see that little yellow ball sticking up right there?
Yeah.
That's a swing stick right there. So it's a weighted swing stick that you can buy. I got mine off Amazon, like 30-40 bucks. And it's weighted so you can get a few rotations and swings in there, and it's supposed to loosen you up like you went to the range. Because I don't know about you, but I'm a superstitious golfer. I don't
Ain't
believe in the
wasting those
range
good
before.
shots on the range, huh?
Exactly. Because I'll see a beautiful range shot and I'll be like, I'm going to shank one right into that pond because I hit it here, aren't I? So it's kind of it's a superstition that I have, and I can't help it. I'm like, no, and you know what? It's kind of cool to me because one of my, I wouldn't say my idol, but someone I look up to, Fat Perez, he's the same way. He's like, I maybe hit a couple balls on the range and then we go.
Make sure I
Otherwise,
can still hit the ball, and let's
right,
get out there.
right. Let me put a club face on ball a couple times and go. But I don't really feel the need to go to the range most of the time because I feel like, you know what? I'm not a pro yet. I am striving to become a pro though. Um, but you have to level with yourself. Like golf is a game that will humble you very quickly. And if you have superstitions, that's okay. It's encouraged in this game. Stick to them. You'll be crazy, but no one on the golf course will think you're crazy. So like
No, because we understand, right? That's kind
right.
of the brotherhood and sisterhood of golf, is understanding the humbling nature of the game. And even the best in the world have a bad day. A guy that I think we all look up to in this golf space, John Daly. He was out here playing the Sanford International in Sioux Falls, South Dakota last year, an event I was very grateful that we got to go and cover and to be at. But I think he had one hole where he was like plus 18, right?
Yeah, I
Just
saw that. No,
you
and look,
know,
if we're gonna talk about that, I feel bad bringing this up, but it is that time of year, so I feel that it's necessary. Who knows more about the best in the world and having it all right there and losing it than Jordan Spieth at the Masters? That
yep.
was rough.
Yeah, well, and this game can but it teaches you a lot. And I would love to, if ever given the chance, to talk to Jordan and to ask him about the comeback after that, right? Because in life, we all have times where it looks like we're on top of the world and then it all falls apart. And it's how you come back from that that shows you the man that you are. And I would love to talk about that mental space, because I think that's the most important part of the game, is that mental space. And how do you pull yourself out of it in the moment to get back on track, or when something as traumatic as doing it on the biggest of stages happens? How do you recover from that in a career, and you go to the next week, and these guys are playing tournaments every single weekend, some of them, right? How do you turn it around in a 72-hour span from Sunday to Wednesday or Thursday, to say, all right, well, we got another chance to go out and win a tournament?
Yeah, that's especially when it's like a major and you have that kind of implosion, you really get to see what someone's made of and like what's inside of them, like the grit. Because I don't know if you have watched this yet. I think it's on Netflix. They have a golf docu-series on there. I'm trying to think of the name, but one of the episodes was actually Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas, and it talked about both of their rises from amateur golf to juniors all the way up to world number one in the Masters, and how Spieth had to watch JT go on that like 156-week run of being number one after he was number one. So it's, if you want to know what's inside Jordan Spieth, I highly recommend going on Netflix and watching that docuseries. It's incredible.
I love it. And that was a big reason behind why I wanted to develop golf content on our network, was not just for that, because I'm an interviewer, right? I kind of mentioned it off camera that, my superpower is showing up and having conversations, right? It's not necessarily being out on the course or in the field and doing the thing, but it's in talking about it. And not that we can't talk about it while we're out there doing it and bringing that out there, but our platform is very much more about the conversations around the game. And I think that golf lends itself more than maybe any other sport to insights into life, right? And not that you can't take lessons in life away from football or basketball or baseball as well, but because of the personal nature of the game of golf, and that there is no one, it's not a team sport, right? It is an individual effort really against yourself. And I think that because of that, I was really intrigued with bringing our talents and what we do at our network into this golf space.
Absolutely. Interviewing in and of itself is an art form because, let's be real, there are good interviewers and there are bad interviewers. We've all seen a bad interview. I mean, if you've watched, Inside Hollywood or E! News, you've seen a bad one. And if you've watched 60 Minutes and, any form, I believe, of, this is going to sound crazy for interviews, but Bob does sports videos. Bobby is a great interviewer. And he doesn't even sound like he's giving an interview. That's how good he is.
Well, and I think that's the superpower to it, right? And my interview style is definitely loose and casual. I'm not here to grill you on questions, but I am interested in getting to know you as a human being beyond whatever you've done in sports. A case in point, at the Sanford International, I had the pleasure, the honor of taking part in their presser with Chris Carter, Rondé Barber, Sir Nick Faldo, right? And I'm sitting there talking to some of the best that have ever done it in their respective sports. And I'm one of like 6 reporters in the room, right? Asking questions. I got a half hour of these legends' time. And
That's
funny
be
that
surreal.
My wife's favorite moment from that, and probably the biggest highlight of that, is I didn't come in with any planned questions. I never do that. I'm just kind of rolling with the conversation. And obviously these guys have all won Masters and US Opens. And I had asked of all of the golfers and Sir Nick Faldo, what is it like to, how does it compare from, winning the a Super Bowl to, winning a US Open or a Masters or one of the other major championships? And he grabbed the microphone and he's like, the other, because I had referred to the Open as one of the others because I had not chosen my words wisely enough. And the whole room had a good chuckle at my expense. I was laughing as well. The man's a knight. Who am I to, befell him? I didn't mean it to degrade the Open by any means, but it was a great moment. My wife is, elbowed me in the side as she's next to me filming, and like they're making fun of you. Is like, look, what a great moment for all of us involved to get a good laugh and to let the hair down a little bit and to be a little informal. And it's okay, right? We're all human. We make mistakes. I will admit my mistakes more than anyone. But I mean, it's something that I'll never forget. And thank goodness I got it all on tape. Just in case I ever do, I can go back to that moment and be humbled again.
Yeah, a lot of people don't give Sir Nick Faldo credit, but his dry wit is incredible.
Oh, he's British, right? Like, come on.
Oh,
right?
I'd love to see him and Rory just have like someone just follow them around for 18 holes. That'd be gold.
I'm gonna see if I can arrange that, right? That to me, that's what building this platform is. And we're, starting to build a show around what I call, executive level content, getting guys that are founders of companies and CEOs out on the course where we can have them in a little different setting, right? Instead of interviewing you in your office or something like, let's get out on the course and let's talk life and let's let the game kind of expose some things that maybe you would be able to hide when you're in the boardroom doing an interview rather than out on the course. How do you recover from a setback, and how do you recover from ending up in the sand trap 3 shots in a row? And what have you learned from the game of golf that you now apply to your business? And that's a big facet of the next 9 months and maybe several decades of our career, is bringing ourselves out there and golfing and learning about ourselves through the game of golf. And I think that's the beauty of the sport.
Well, I will say this for any business CEOs out there or small business owners that are starting up their own thing. If you get into the sand trap 3 times in a row, get yourself a 64-degree wedge, because you will get right out. So find yourself a 64-degree kind of player in your company and get you out of any sticky situation.
You got it. Well, Pods, before I let you get out of here, definitely want you to tell us all about the channels and what you got going on, where people can find you, and how often you're out there posting.
Okay. Real quick before that, I got to ask you one question, since you asked me so many. Who is your favorite golfer? Can be present, can be dead, can be past.
Ooh, favorite golfer, huh? Wow. I guess I really hadn't put any thought into that before. For me, I think someone who marches to the beat of their own drum, and we had brought them up earlier, and seeing now in his older age how supportive he is of not just guys that are on tour, but are in the creation space, and that's got to be John Daly.
Yeah,
I mean,
John's a
there
goat.
could not be, to me, a better ambassador for the sport. Now, everybody in golf may not like that because he's a little rough around the edges, but to me, that's someone that I think really embodies what golf can be. It doesn't have to be stuffy. It doesn't have to be uptight. It can be loose.
Right.
It can be barefoot. It can be a lot of fun.
Grip it and rip it, baby.
And he's made a career out of it, right? And had a very successful touring career. And I think his celebrity continues to grow now because of his investment into the creator space and going out and being featured in movies now with Happy Gilmore too. And I just think it's incredible how he's been able to, and for years kind of being like the bad boy of golf, right? The guy who, walks up ripping a dart and goes out and crushes it, 350 plus yards. So to me, I think that's my favorite, not necessarily for what he's done on the course, which obviously he has his accomplishments there, but for what he's doing for the game and growing the game. And I think that in time, he will be recognized more for that than possibly anything that he ever did on the course.
I absolutely agree. So for me, I'll make it quick. My favorite golfer, I have 2. One posthumous and one that's present right now. My favorite current golfer is Rory McIlroy and Bryson DeChambeau. Those are my 2. They're 1A and 1B to me. They both hit bombs and they're both hilarious. And what Bryson does for the game of golf and content creation is great. What Rory does as a PGA ambassador is amazing. But my favorite golfer who I try to model my game after, and unfortunately, I wish I could have got to meet him, but he lived such a long time ago, Ben Hogan. Just Mr. Fundamental. Ben Hogan.
I think Ben would probably tell you then, spend some time on the range, Pods, working on the fundamentals.
Yeah, I know. He probably would. But if you want to see me do things on the range or on the course, you can follow me at PodsPlaysGolf on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, as well as on Threads. And I also have a Facebook page. So if you ever want to come check it out and see how a high handicapper plays, getting on his journey to a low handicap and professional, come see me.
I love it, Pods. Thank you so much for joining me today. A great conversation. I can't wait till we get a chance to go play around together, whether it's in California or I drag you up here into the Dakotas during the summertime. I think it would be a lot of fun to get out there and to co-create some content and to just hang out. And one more shout out to a company that we're both ambassadors for, Shankit Golf, a great company, and got some really fun stuff for us that are, we're looking to make a statement on the course, but not with our game. And of course, I have to thank our sponsors here at the Scene Project Sports Network, Skunk Golf Company. Look good, even if your game stinks. It's all about having fun and being part of this beautiful community we call golf. Alex, thank you so much for spending some time with me, man. And thanks for being part of the scene.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey guys, I just wanted to pop in and tell you about a great new company that we just started working with. Skunk Golf Company out of North Dakota sent us some awesome gear. Man, they got some great stuff, y'all. They got some awesome hats. They sent us some great polo and collared shirts, some t-shirts, skirts for the ladies too, and some sweet visors. Go check them out. Skunked Golf online.